Hello and good morning, everybody. Just give a couple more seconds for a few more people to join. I just get a thumbs up. You can still see my screen, Ben. Okay. Oh, down. Oh, no. If you've not guessed, we're using a new Zoom platform. Let's see if we can see that. Yes, good. Okay, no technical difficulties. Good start. Give it a minute or so. Okay, I'll get started. I think we'll crack on. So today's webinar is all about AI versus automation and how contact centers can get it right. I think AI, there's a lot of maybe confusion around what is AI, what is automation. I think they sometimes can blend across the two and bleed into each other. So we thought we'd have a discussion today around this topic and we can help you understand where AI makes the biggest impact, where it makes sense for more automation in the contact center, and how you can use a blend of the two approaches together for the best results. So before we dive into that topic, just a quick intro into who MaxContact are for anyone new joining us today. So MaxContact is a cloud-based contact center platform. We are built to help organizations have better and more meaningful conversations that help ultimately drive business outcomes. So we work with lots of different organizations of varying sizes in different industries, but we work across the core use cases of our product are really for sales, sales teams, debt collection teams, and any customer engagement teams that need to make it easier to connect with customers, and helping them manage contacts at scale, unlock powerful insights from their conversations. Unlike other providers who just focus on the call handling element of the platform, MaxContact really is focused on helping you achieve better, more successful outcomes, which ultimately leads to more sales, collecting more debt, and delivering better customer experiences. So that's who we are and what we do from a platform perspective. Just a couple of housekeeping things. So today's session is recorded. Please use the Q&A panel. That's why we're doing these webinars live. We do them every month. So if you can engage with us on there, ask anything that you pops into your mind, that would be great. It gives us a few things to talk about at the end as well. And we'll send out the recording as well after the session. So if you have to jump off for whatever reason, that's not a problem. We'll follow up via email. And obviously share it to anyone who might find it useful. So I'll introduce myself and Ben. So if you've not joined us before, me and Ben are probably the staples in this webinar series. So Ben O'Reilly is our training specialist at MaxContact. Saying hi, Ben.
Hello.
So Ben plays a pivotal role in helping our clients understand MaxContact, but also how to maximize the benefits of the product. He's got an extensive experience in training and development, lots and lots of experience working with different types of organizations, and has got a proven track record of delivering insightful sessions that enhance operational efficiency and ultimately the results that customers are getting by using the platform. So he's very good at translating really complex technical concepts into practical strategies and ultimately enabling contact centers to scale using great technology like MaxContact. I'm marketing director at MaxContact. I've been involved in helping drive the growth of the business, enhancing the brand. I've got over 15 years experience in the B2B and B2C sectors, leading marketing teams across various industries like telecoms, commodity markets, but more recently, obviously, the customer engagement technology side of things. So that is us in a nutshell. So let's crack on with the content today. So, why AI and why now? Um, so I think what a time to be alive with the invention of AI. AI is not just another tech trend; it is a foundational shift, very much like the internet, that has already reshaped how we work. I can comment from my own personal day-to-day work as well. It's just absolutely reshaped the work landscape. According to McKinsey, generative AI could add up to $4.4 trillion in global productivity annually. 92% of companies are planning to increase their investment in Gen AI over the next 3 years. Yet, despite all this enthusiasm, only 1% of businesses consider themselves more mature in the AI deployment, which really highlights a significant opportunity for forward-thinking businesses to lead in this space, but not only lead in the space, almost carve out a competitive advantage as well. I suppose to get there, that does require commitment into both learning about AI, understanding how it could impact your role, but the area of the businesses that you look after, and also the business as a whole. It does take commitment to drive that strategic advantage. A recent survey by Salesforce as well revealed that 73% of Gen AI users are millennials or Gen Z, indicating that the workforce that is coming through organizations are ready to embrace the technology as well. So there's a lot of talk about AI, dare I say, a lot of hype, um, and really it's understanding, I suppose, from an AI versus automation perspective, what does what fits best where, and ultimately, could you achieve what you want to achieve in your organization or your department with automation? Does automation actually help meet maybe like 80% of the use case or the requirements that you're looking at, or do you actually need AI? And that's what we're going to talk about now. So understanding the difference between automation and AI is crucial. Automation really excels at handling repetitive and structured tasks. So things like call routing, payment processing, appointment conversations. Automation is great at handling those things. AI, in contrast, thrives in more complex decision making, using natural language processing, and managing unstructured data. So AI can learn, adapt, respond, whereas automation follows that predefined action and almost that workflow of events. So interestingly, 84% of executives believe that AI is essential for achieving growth objectives, compared to the 60% that believe automation technology will do the same thing for their businesses. So they're both very important from a strategic perspective to businesses, but AI is pipping the post in terms of actually the impact that people believe it might have in their businesses. So we're going to talk a little bit about the use cases for automation versus AI. So identifying the right starting point for AI and automation is vital, and it's where companies can quickly unlock real results. So starting with automation, in MaxContact, for example, automation thrives when handling predictable rule-based workflows. There's some examples that Ben will cover off in a few minutes' time, but they really help, I suppose, businesses and their teams reduce that mundane or repeatable human task that doesn't feel like it actually needs a human. So automated IVRs help guide customers through identification verification, or help them through the payment journey without the need of an agent online. Outcome-driven workflows mean that when an agent wraps a call and say they've promised to pay, or they've got an appointment booked, and they've selected those outcomes, Automated SMS or email comms can be triggered, confirming the next steps to the customer. These are all types of things that are quite easily automated and save lots of time and I suppose remove some of the mundaneness out of agent roles. List management automation moves leads automatically based on outcome codes and attempt rules as well. So automation not only saves time, but also creates operational consistency, which is also a crucial factor in sales and collection success. So moving on to AI. So where automation follows a set rules, AI adds intelligence to those conversations. So where we're enabling AI through spoken AI and MaxContact, we've got a few examples. One is around AI note summarization and full transcripts. So it's a relatively simple one to understand, but every call is automatically transcribed. You get a concise professional summary, which is generated at the end of the call. And instead of agents having to spend 3 to 5 minutes of typing manual notes after every call or communication that they've had, um, which leads to, on average, about 20 to 30% longer wrap times. AI is summarizing those conversations, saving time, increasing accuracy as well, and ensures that there's consistency within your data set, within the platform, within your CRM as well, which obviously those notes can be pushed to any integrations that you have. We also have using AI across sentiment analysis and conversations as well. So spoken AI listens to the tone and language that customers are using and those conversations, scoring the sentiment on whether customers sound positive, neutral, negative. And then we've also got objection handling. So RMI models pick up on moments where customers might be raising objections on calls with your agents. So it could be a pricing concern, a timing issue. If it's a sales call, they might not fully understand the product. And it really helps people pinpoint those examples and understand how your agents might be able to respond more effectively in the future. So really, from an AI perspective, spoken AI really highlights trends so you can proactively action any outcomes and learnings that you've had from the AI models. So where, from a use case perspective, does this make sense? So in sales, it might look like using predictive dialing to automate outbound activity, while AI notes speed up CRM updates, and spoken AI might flag when calls where sales objections aren't being overcome effectively. So there's an end-to-end journey of where AI and automation come together to really help the not only the speed up efficiency, create efficiencies, but actually get better outcomes as well from the conversations that are being had. In debt collections or debt management, it might be about automating secure payment links post-call, while AI identifies which customer segments show signs of frustration or concern or vulnerability before they raise an issue. And then the same can be said with customer service, really automating simple tasks via an IVR, while spoken AI helps provide deep conversational insights that help understand customer satisfaction trends or even preempt where you might need to start proactive customer service engagement with a specific client. So while only 19% of companies today report a direct revenue uplift of more than 5% from AI, 87% do believe that it will start to significantly impact revenue in the next 3 years. Again, another huge opportunity, especially if you're able to move early, be agile, automate the right tasks and apply AI where it really matters so that you get in. So it's being applied in the conversation at the right points, but then you get in better outcomes from the back of it as well. So when we're talking about transitioning from, I suppose this is a concept to pilot to scaling, there are some typical blockers when it comes to getting a successful pilot undertaken. So transitioning from a pilot project to scalable AI and automation solutions, it is a common hurdle. Boston Consulting Group have stated some recent research that 74% of customers and companies struggle to scale AI solutions beyond the initial pilot. The organizations that succeed are those with they've got big ambitions, but they've also got very clear metrics. And I think most importantly, that strong leadership alignment to the AI initiatives or the digital transformation or the transformation project. It's not a pet project or like a bolt-on piece of technology that if you're wanting this to really have a business impact, that can just be added on and expect the results just to flow out of it. And a part of this is building trust as well, which is crucial. So 71% of employees trust their employers to deploy AI safely within the businesses. And that's more than they trust governments or big tech companies. And this trust is really solid, a foundation for scaling. If the team that are the recipient of AI technology are not trusting the technology that they're using, that really is a barrier to change. So I think understanding common concerns, having a really phased approach to rolling out AI is a crucial part of helping build trust. The key is to view AI and automation, I suppose, not merely as the bolt-on technology tools that I mentioned, but as a way of gaining strategic advantage supported by comprehensive training, robust governance as well across the business, and also ensuring that you have got those feedback loops with the teams that are using it and also the customers as well, understanding how your customers feel about using different channels, AI. I suppose it's very much like the conversations we were having 3, 4, 5 years ago about being where your customers are, knowing what channel they prefer. A lot of AI adoption now is a little bit about understanding preferences of your customers. I think there are ways to ensure that you're balancing customer preference with achieving your operational efficiencies and your performance increases through automation and AI. So that's just some of the stats and things we're seeing with AI pilots and scaling AI across businesses and in contact centers. And I'll hand over now to Ben, who is going to talk a little bit more about the practical applications of automation first.
Thank you, Kayleigh. Hello, everybody. Yeah, I'm just going to go through a few sort of features and things that we have within MaxContact to help you from an automation point of view, as well as touch on a couple of the kind of AI areas as well, but not in great depth, as I'll explain when we get to it. So the first one is around sort of automated dialing. We have 3 types of those: predicted, progressive, and preview. So with these, obviously, we can increase contact rates, improve your productivity for your users, reducing idle time. And essentially, we've got predefined rules and pacing logic that will automatically present calls to your users. So the agents don't need to manually choose who they're going to call. The system's going to do that for them. And again, predictively or progressively or preview are the 3 main modes, depending on your campaign needs. So the first one is progressive. And that's going to dial the next number only when there's an agent available. So it ensures that a live agent is always available to take a call. And that's going to remove the risk of any drop calls happening, something that Ofcom don't like people doing. And it's suitable for targeting existing customers, higher value sales. And it's also worth noting as well that it works great with small users, small user numbers, should I say, rather than actual user sizes, as well as those larger campaigns. So it can be used across the board there in terms of progressive dialing. Next one we've got is predictive. And this uses algorithms to call multiple numbers simultaneously, connecting agents only when a live person answers. This will maximize efficiency. It'll makes it ideal for large-scale campaigns with lots of users for things like B2C sales and debt collection. Then you've got preview dialing. And this one provides agents with the customer's information on the screen before the call is actually made. You've got the ability to let them skip a lead, for example, if it's not an appropriate time to call that person. And it allows them time to prepare for perhaps a more complex or sensitive conversation with the customer as well. This approach is beneficial for B2B sales, situations requiring sort of that personalized engagement from the agents. And also, it's worth noting at this point before we move on to another feature, is that we can offer a mixed outbound dialing mode, which is quite a unique feature to MaxContact. Most platforms don't have this functionality. So within a single campaign, web leads could be dialed in preview mode because of the high value, but the rest of the data could still be dialed in progressive or predictive mode. And again, that's all in that one campaign. So it allows you to really control, the mode in which you're dialing some clients compared to others, perhaps, but within that one campaign or for that same group of agents. So if we move on to another feature that we have, and this is outbound skill-based routing. So this one is a really, really powerful feature. It intelligently matches outbound calls to the most suitable agents, and that's based on predefined skills and proficiency levels. So instead of creating multiple campaigns or having to split your data up manually, admins can assign specific skills to both their agents and the data. So when a call is made, the system's going to automatically route the correct customer to the agent that's best equipped to handle that particular call. So that's going to improve that customer experience straight away. It's going to increase your conversion rates, and it's going to reduce that admin effort because you don't have to do those manual tasks in the background. So the way this works, essentially, is you would go on, you would create your skills. So things like product expertise, negotiation ability, regulatory knowledge. It could literally be anything you want. Those are created in the system. And then the next step is to assign those to users individually or via plans that you can apply to groups of users. The proficiency levels of each user for each skill can also be set. So, you could have several users with the same skills, but some of them are better at it than others. So you want to kind of get those guys to get those calls above some of the other ones. The next step is then when that data or those contact lists are imported into the system, they're also assigned those skill groups that reflect the expertise that is needed to handle those particular customers. The system is then going to dynamically match each lead with the best available agent based on skills and the proficiency of those skills. Once the calls are completed, dynamic updating can be utilized as well. So outcomes or result codes, they can adjust the skill assignments. So for example, after a sale, future sale, future calls could route to aftercare agents based on that different skill that's been set in the background there. So some of the key benefits of that, it consolidates those campaigns and lists, simplifying all the admin, reducing human error by minimizing manual list management and the opportunity for mistakes to happen there. It's going to ensure customers are speaking to the best fit agents for the first time, support new starters by controlling exposure to more complex calls, give skills once you're happy and they're happy that they're comfortable with those types of calls. And it can also improve those call success rates and your customer satisfaction. So lots of benefits of that skill-based routing for your outbound calls there. Your next one is contact prioritization or custom data fetching. And within MaxContact, this allows you to control exactly how your dialer prioritizes contacts across different data lists as well. So instead of relying on the system to pull contacts randomly or working through lists in a sequential manner, you can kind of set specific priorities and ratios to that data. So it means that you can choose where your agents are going to focus their time and effort. And this can be updated on the fly. So it's not a case of, we set that in the morning and that's going to happen the rest of the day. Any point you can go in and apply those different filters on those different sort of pots of data. So the way this works is you might have different data pots or data lists imported into the system. So it could be new leads, it could be high value customers, payment reminders, for example. Using custom data fetching, you can set ratios so that system is going to say pull 70% of the calls from high value customers. So that one data pot, 20% from your new leads pot, and maybe 10% from your payment reminders pot as well. So you're pulling those ratios from all those different pots of data, getting those calls through. It's going to work with those ratios to ensure the team's always targeting the highest priority contacts first without manual reordering, list management, that kind of thing. It'll also allow you to target specific demographics. So you can actually add in filters where it will look at specific postcodes, for example. It could be age ranges, it could be contract expiry dates, countless other scenarios based off any of the data that you've imported and added into the system. So you've got lots of kind of powerful filtering options within there as well. So why is that useful? Well, it's going to allow you to focus on revenue driving activities, making sure the most valuable contacts are prioritized over others. You've got dynamic balance across your campaigns. You can spread your outbound effort intelligently across different goals, sales, service, collections, and you don't have to split them up into multiple campaigns. You've got full flexibility, so you've got full control. You can stay in control of your strategy, can adapt it. As I mentioned before, you can move things around if your campaign needs shift. So if a certain promotion or deadline is approaching, you might want to move those filters and change who it is you're actually targeting. And it gives you the ability to fine tune the outbound operations for maximum impact. So ensuring your agent's time is spent where it delivers the most value for you. So moving on from that, that's a couple of our kind of big features there. I've got a couple of smaller ones to kind of go through as well. So we've got data list management with your outcomes. So the benefits here, you can keep your data fresh, you can improve your efficiency and reduce those wasted dials. In terms of automation, it's automatically going to move leads to different lists or statuses based on your outcomes. So outcome codes do more than just record the call results within MaxContact. They're also driving that automation in the background. So you can set rules to move leads to re-engagement lists after a set number of attempts. It could be escalate to specialist teams, for example. So if a customer doesn't answer after 3 attempts, you can automatically reclassify them onto a different list, a different pot of data. Managers don't have to manually do that. They don't have to sort that data. That's off the back of an outcome on the call. I've moved this customer from this particular list to a different one. So it results in that smarter kind of list management with less manual intervention on there. Another feature we've got is around outcome-based SMS. So appointment confirmations, payment links, things like that. Faster follow-up. It's going to improve your customer experience. It's going to reduce that admin as well. So it's automatically triggering communications based on your outcome code. So let's say a customer agrees to a payment or books an appointment. The MaxContact system can instantly send them a tailored SMS confirmation or a secure payment link without the agent needing to do anything but choose an outcome just as they would on all of their calls. Specific outcomes can have these SMSs triggered off the back of them. So it's going to reduce your follow-up work and ensure consistent customer communications. We've got another feature around automated IVRs. So a couple of those just to pick out, we've got what we call a golden ticket, payment IVRs, you've got ID and V options. So setting up self-service options for your customers, reducing agent handling time, speeding up that resolution. So you've got, in terms of automation, you've got that predefined rule-based IVR flow, handling transactions or data capture. So our IVR, we don't class it as being static, it's smart. So you can build journeys that let customers complete ID and V. They can make payments or take a golden ticket, which is going to leave their number in the queue without hanging on the line. All of this can be done without an agent being involved at all. So these self-service flows kind of reduce your inbound volumes and improve the customer journey for them when they're calling into your contact center. Another one we've got, a biggie, I suppose, is CRM integration. So we can improve that data visibility, reduce duplication, and have better follow-ups on all of your contacts. It's automatically syncing data between MaxContact and your CRM. So it means there's no more switching between systems. With CRM integration, MaxContact can automatically log call notes, update customer records, import new leads straight into the platform, and communicate between the two. And it improves your data quality, saves time, and makes your CRM the single source of truth for all your data. So there's a few examples of kind of the automation that we can put into MaxContact to help you automate what goes on within the system. Moving on from automation and having a look at a couple of the AI areas that we've got here. We've got AI note summaries and transcripts with spoken AI. So that's our speech analytics features, which can be embedded within Contact Hub, which is your user interface that the guys use when they're on the calls, when they're dealing with omni-channel interactions such as web chat, email, SMS, etc. So the benefits of this is that it's going to save time on that manual note taking, as Kayleigh mentioned earlier on. It's going to increase the accuracy and improve coaching and compliance as well. So speech to text is going to generate summaries, full transcripts automatically in the system. So, again, these are going to be generated. Your admin staff can go in and look at these, as well as your users. They can actually see what's going on. And this is where the AI kind of really shines in spoken AI. It's integrated into the Contact Hub, as I've said, so your users don't need to make manual notes. They still can, but also you've got all that call summarization as well. Every call is transcribed, summarized using natural language processing. So it's accurate, better for compliance, and there's less admin involved. And it also means that managers have richer insights for coaching without listening back to hours of recordings. They can just jump in and look at those summaries, see that information. If they want to, they can go in and look through the transcripts, and they can also play the recordings if they really need to. Then we've got AI analysis, easy for me to say, sentiment and objection handling, which are a couple of the big ones in there that we can do. So the benefits here is going to help the leaders understand what's working in the conversation and what's not, improving your agent performance and enhancing the customer experience. So we use AI to analyze call recordings for tone, emotion, objection patterns, and lots of other areas as well. So I'm not going to go into a lot of this one today. It was actually covered in a previous webinar, but it's worth a mention. And I'm sure you'll be able to access the previous webinar. I think Kayleigh might give you a bit of detail on how you can access all of ours. So spoken AI doesn't just listen to what's said, it understands how it's said as well, which is key. You get that sentiment scoring, you get insight into how objections were handled by your users and trends across teams, campaigns, and data as well. And it also, obviously, that's going to help you improve your outcomes, spot coaching needs faster, and give you that overall view of what's going on within the system in terms of how calls are being handled and how everything's going on there. So again, touched only on a couple of things around AI. As I said, there is a previous webinar recording that you will be able to access, but we've covered some of the automation that you've got in there as well. And that is everything from me. So I'm going to hand us back over to Kayleigh.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, I suppose there's lots of opportunities for those smaller pieces of automation and also the bigger features, like Ben said, outbound skills-based routing, data prioritization, that if you are using MaxContact today, if you are not using those features for whatever reason, just get in touch. We've got lots of assets that help show you how to set those up. And if you need to, you can contact our support team as well, who'll be more than happy to help. So just looking forward to our key takeaways. We've got three. One is to understand the difference between automation and AI. So automation is great for those predictable workflow style tasks. AI is great for more complex decision making, understanding of conversations. And really, I suppose it's starting to think about where you've got potential use cases for either automation, AI, or a combination of both within your contact center, or it might be in your everyday work life as well. And I think it's a little bit around understanding, um, once you understand the difference between the two and where one is good and one outperforms the other, it really helps you understand the application of technology for the different use cases as well, and where it might make sense to just go with the automation rather than bringing AI into the equation. So it's all about how much of your use case will automation help you with versus AI, and what is the where does the benefit lie? Um, Secondly, it's start smart. So focus AI and automation where they deliver the quickest wins. It's a really great way to, I suppose, start to measure the impact of automation of AI as well. It could be something quite simple, like Ben said, enabling one of those features, understanding what your campaign success rates might have been before starting outbound skills-based routing, for example, or data prioritization, and then starting to measure the impact of that automation, both on success rates from the calls themselves, but also from time spent and the admin side of things as well. And starting to catalog those wins really does help to start to build that, I suppose, the proof points for a larger scale pilot or deployment across your organization of larger scale automation and AI. Finally, we say think big and start small. Scaling AI and automation needs to have clear goals. So, like I said, if you understand around actually trial, test a few things, understand the impact that it could make, build the trust in your organization around AI usage, and get that strong leadership commitment, it will really help you as an organization to increase your efficiencies and get those wins across the team. So I think key one for me here is that starting small. It can happen today if you're not using some of these automation features within the platform, but make sure that you're measuring before and after, because there's successful outcomes and stories will really help you to tell that compelling narrative around AI and automation's impact in the contact center. So we'll go to some questions. Let me have a look here. We've got a couple. Just get them up. I'll exit. Stop sharing my screen. Don't know how to do that. Here we go. There we go. Right. Do you think it would be a good idea for us to handle the audio extraction and transcription ourselves, then process it using our own LLM? Does MaxContact make it easy for us to do that? So I think this might be around taking by audio extraction and transcription. It sounds like taking the transcription from spoken AI and then using it in your own LLM. I think that is possible. You can export transcripts from spoken. So obviously it's permission based, so only certain individuals in your organization will be able to do that. And if you've built your own LLM that is specific to your business or your use case, then absolutely, I think it's definitely something that's worth testing, and something that you could start to train your model on. Okay, I've just got a clarifying comment. So the audio itself, so the actual call recording. Ben, can we extract call recordings from MaxContact?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can do it on an individual call basis. You can manually go in and choose which ones you want. We can also set up with you some automatic uploads or downloads, whichever way you want to say it, of the call recordings to your system. Obviously, I'd always recommend using spoken AI rather than your own, but yeah, it is totally possible.
Yeah. Good. And have we got any more questions? There's a question around the survey. We have actually had have a recent survey that was so the example we used was Salesforce, but we have just released a voice of the customer survey that we asked 1,000 UK consumers all around their, I suppose, their experiences of working or liaising with contact centers of different types. And a part of that, the AI was a big topic. So that's also something that we can include in the follow-up from the webinar as well. It's got lots of great insight as to how willing people are to engage with an AI chatbot, for example, and for what for, and who is most likely to do that. There are some really interesting geographic splits as well, which I'm not sure how really accurate they might be and representative of a certain area, but it is interesting, especially around the Gen Z versus millennials, the sort of age demographic of and usage and perception of AI. I think it's quite interesting. And I think that is it for the questions. I'll give it just one more moment. If not, usually we get a spate of questions. Okay, here we go. Another
Got
one.
another one.
So how does how does the mixed outbound dialing work? So the blended approach to dialing. Oh,
So
sorry, not blended.
yeah,
The mix.
yeah, blended actually, as you mentioned there. So that's when your users will log into an outbound campaign, but they can also receive inbound calls. In terms of sort of dialing, what I mentioned earlier on about the predictive, the progressive, and the preview, essentially you will have different pots of your data, and again, depending on how that data gets into that certain pot, could be automatically uploading from the website, for example, things like that. But you can essentially say to each pot of data, I want you to dial in this manner. So you can have a campaign that's dialing progressively, but you've got those web leads that you want your agents to be prepared for every call. So those high value kind of data, set that to be preview. And that campaign will then just call out, and any of that data from that particular list is going to be dialed in the preview mode. And it's all nice and straightforward and easy to do. You can update it again on the fly. So if you want to change a list from preview to progressive or predictive, you can just do that nice and quickly within our campaign manager screen that we've got for admin. Hope that answers that question.
Good. See if there's any others. Do we believe that AI replaces agents in the contact center? I can say we don't believe that it will, or it does, especially not right now. There might be some organizations out there that are talking about that. We believe that AI is really enhancing the type of work that agents are doing, and it doesn't replace the need for a human. It, like I said, it helps reduce those repetitive tasks, manual admin. So really, they can add value and really focus on those high value conversations where human skills are required. So empathy, negotiation, and just judgment and experience. So we do know AI is getting more advanced with becoming more human-like. So we've recently been doing a lot of testing around that. And it's coming on leaps and bounds. But what I suppose it doesn't have is necessarily the experience that an agent has who's been working for your business for the last 5 years. who's privy to the internal conversations that's happening across the team, knows what works for Tim, who sits next to them, and you know, it's really about that internal knowledge sharing as well, that we believe that the human element of the contact center shouldn't be replaced. So that's our stance on that one. Anything to add on that one, Ben?
Nope.
Let me see if there's any others. And that's it for questions. So thank you very much for all the questions. It was good to see. We'll be sending up the follow-up email just after this, probably later on this afternoon. And please join us again for next month. And if you haven't taken a look at our roadmap as well, that'd be something worthwhile having a look. Today we have got lots of different ways you can obviously increase your automation. We have got spoken AI on the conversation insights, helping you achieve better outcomes. But AI and automation is a big area of focus for us as a product team as well. Really focused on how we can increase campaign performance, agent performance and efficiency, so that it's helping you maximize the opportunity for increased revenue growth, and also while helping reduce those operational efficiencies. So it's definitely, as with many organizations, a big area of development for our product of the future. So that would be interesting to look at as well. But thank you very much for joining us today, and yeah, hope to see you again next time.